expect from this team, and that's what's so exciting about them going against Nora-Rengo.
All right. Well, before we talk about Nora-Rengo, let's go through our pick and ban here, Mr. Hoppers. I just love trying to say it.
Love
I know
trying. It's a bit of a longer A, like Hoppers, right?
Hoppers.
Yeah, that's getting closer. It's a bit too exaggerated, but it's closer than Hoppers. Right? It's like, anyway.
Yeah. Well, there it is. Coastline is the map we're going to be playing on. A map that favors a lot of gunning. What we've been seeing in general, that's kind of the tune that everybody plays by. Looking at this time, anything that kind of comes to mind with Nora-Rengo on it, is this something that might favor them against SCARZ? Because SCARZ had the final ban. They could have gone to either Villa or Coast.
I think this might actually favor SCARZ a bit, especially if you saw them play yesterday, where they took in the first 5 rounds by basically completely shutting down Electrify. After that shut down, but about Nora-Rengo, like they are that team that everybody like. They stole everybody their hearts, right? Outside of APAC, but they never really managed to get back to their current form. Everybody expected them to go in huge again into that first game, but they're kind of disappointed by losing their out. So I'm hoping that they will be able to bring their true gunners out right here and show SCARZ who is boss. Because Nora-Rengo is, of course, that like, well, not really. It's an old school team almost. Like everybody loves them, even though they're not performing that well anymore. So I really hope for them that they're going to be able to get their true gunning selves out.
And that this map was picked in the end by SCARZ. Gio, you've been looking at a lot of their history and through what they've played through. Does it actually correlate? Does it make sense for them to go for this map, given the circumstance?
I think, kind of going off of what Hap said, it really matches what we've seen their strengths to be. They're very aggressive attackers, and Coastline is a very attack-heavy map. It's very attacker-sided. It is very aggressive, and so I think it really enables what their strengths are. Whereas Clubhouse, of course, which is what they played on in Playday 1, it's a lot more strategical, and that means that if your weakness is on the defense, you are definitely going to be caught out there because you have to ensure that you're doing it exceptionally meticulously. So I think that that's definitely something to look out for. But you also have to remember that when Nora-Rengo were playing on Playday 1, their star kind of gunner, Meriyu, was playing on Kali. He wasn't playing on really a fragging kind of operator. So it depends on how Nora-Rengo are able to present their side of things.
All right, well, something else to present here. What do people think about this matchup? So, of course, percentages. You can pick which team you believe will take the victory in this matchup. On social media, so you can go to Rainbow Six Esports APAC. 82% going for Nora-Rengo. Not surprising, given the fact that the team is the most popular outside of the local community, and even to some extent in Japan itself. So I guess Japanese fans really showing up for this one where it matters. But we hope to see more of both of these teams. Nora-Rengo, as well, as Stein was saying, kind of takes time to get back to that great form that they had in the past. It definitely has had an effect. So I wouldn't say it's anywhere near as skewed as it should be, at least when it comes to just looking at the game from the outside. But Coastline is ready. We're going to be loading in just a moment here. So let's kick it off to our casters. It's SCARZ versus Nora-Rengo. Coastline, have fun.
Hey guys, welcome to the casting desk. I guess a virtual remote one, I guess you want to call it. Guess who it is? It's a family broadcast now. This is a family show. I'm here with Jess for the first time. I'm looking forward to bringing this game to you. I have zero doubt, Jess, that you are as well.
Oh, I love Coastline. I love these teams. And what I want more than ever... I think you're muted on Discord,
by the way, Jess.
I am. You know what? It keeps happening to me.
Is that the third time now with you?
You know how it keeps happening to me, ladies and gentlemen, is I don't want to interrupt the beautiful voices of Milosh and our analysts and everything like that. So I mute out. I try and give them the floor. And when I get back, I'm just not ready. But what I was going to say to you, and broadcast would have heard it, but just so you know, big bro,
I need to hear it too.
I love these teams. I love the fraggers on these teams, but I want to see some more strategic play. I don't want to just see frags left, right, and center, right? I want some strategy. Nora-Rengo has won of a lot of defensive rounds on their past play day, and on SCARZ, they won almost all of their attacking rounds. So I want to see these two teams go head-to-head when they're both good on alternate sides.
That's exactly the same sort of story for me here. Nora-Rengo with a brilliant game on Oregon the other day against Q-Confirm. Of course, I'm going to mention that because it was one of the games that I sat and looked at in great deal afterwards. But I think we saw these guys being really good there again on the fragging capability. There were some brilliant defensive rounds out of them as well. but as a team that has kind of not so much slunk into the background in Japan, but they've definitely started falling behind some other teams, looking at teams like Guts who have really pulled themselves ahead. Meanwhile, SCARZ inside Korea have now become the go-to team winning the recent Pro League season there. It's definitely a clash. It's kind of the wounded beast on the side of Nora-Rengo that we all saw at SI 2019 coming up against SCARZ, who are on the up and up. And who knows exactly how this game is going to go. The fans are with Nora-Rengo, as you probably come to expect, but it can go either way today. We're into the operator bans, and Jess, I'm going to let you take this one away.
Well, it's not a surprise to see Monty banned out Nora-Rengo. They've had really good success on their defensive half, and throwing a Monty in the mix would detract from that, I think, a little bit. So a lot of have funs thrown out in chat. We love that. Some good sportsmanship from both teams. And I think for SCARZ, there we go, Habana banned out as well. That's a really usual ban for Coastline. People go, well, hard breaches don't make sense. Well, they actually do. A lot of walls, especially for the sites of Hookah, Blue Bar, and even a little bit depending if Mira's not banned for Kitchen as well, they can be really handy. So don't discount Habana and her effectiveness. The second ban will come out from SCARZ will be a Valkyrie. Not surprised. Coastline is insanely good with intel operators like Valkyrie, even a Pulse and whatnot. You want to get 4 out of the board as well. So will go out. Okay. I mean, Echo being automatically banned means that you've got a little bit more freedom to play with here, and they decided Mira is not what they want to go against.
Absolutely. The hit point I'm really glad you mentioned, because I was going to touch on it and say, Jess, please expand on that, because we had a good conversation around this a few weeks ago where you look at Habana and normally you think, okay, she's great for opening up rotates to the attackers, it's getting away inside a site, she's being a hard breacher, right? On here, it's more about those sight lines that you're opening up for your team rather than strictly opening up a human-sized hole that you can then crouch your way through. So absolutely becoming a very staple ban here, alongside the Valkyries you mentioned a second ago. And Mira's kind of subjective. I know that in the EU we see it banned sometimes we don't. Anyone's guess in some instances. What we are seeing come out though, and with the Valkyrie being banned away, maybe it's not as threatening as it would be otherwise. The Nomad coming out on the side of SCARZ here, just trying to kind of contain Nora-Rengo a little bit here. Let the pace be dictated by this side of SCARZ. I'll always say the attackers are the ones who determine the pace, and the defenders are the ones who tend to determine how a round is going to play out.
We see that live featuring on Demic. That's scary because a lot of those happening around so far. And well, if you've got a Lion in the mix and you say they're setting the pace, well, that pace is going to be. I don't want to see that. If you're going to bring a Lion, don't be passive. You push. When you pop that EE1D, I want to see these players push in, isolating those roamers. But this looks to be an extended hold for the Kitchen. It doesn't look like they'll do a vertical hold. European meta. Instead, what we're going to be seeing is the APAC version of the Kitchen hold. Attackers are heading out to the horizontal level with a lot of horizontal lines of sight open up.
And this is because quite a few teams like to take control of Sunrise, right? They like to get control of the west side of the map, put one in through office, put a couple inside of Sunrise itself, and hope to find a way into the whole west side is clear, and then can start looking in towards Kitchen door. You're right, this is exactly why you always blind spray through these windows. We mentioned it yesterday. Sorry, the day before, I should say. Yesterday was an off day. The day before that on Tuesday, a case of blind spraying through these windows. You just don't know what you're going to find, and sometimes it's that 1 single millisecond of luck that can give you a massive advantage at the very start of these rounds.
I gasped before because I saw that Lion DMR. I haven't seen that in so long. And I want to see whether or not he's able to use that to great effect. You can see that one reinforcement there. I'm wondering what that was about. I think it's because the line of sight of the rotate. Thank you there for our beautiful observer. There's actually no rotate into Blue Bar. So whatever line of sight that's meant to cut, I'm really interested. I'd love to know at a future date what that reinforcement is really about. But the vertical holds will begin, and it looks like Sunrise is their target, and unfortunately for them, they didn't have any crossfires to cut the rotate out, so that Ash charge will be wasted on that vertical, which actually could have been used above Kitchen or service entrance.
It's kind of playing the safe game, right? But I agree with you, there is limited utility on the side of SCARZ. In fact, Medics, can we have a look at the gadgets they're running? I just want to see if 11's got breach charges or claymores. He has got breach charges, so they do have a good bit of destruction on side here. If that was a claymore, I would have been very concerned, but I think we're in a spot here where at least they have the ability to open up those crucial holes above Kitchen to cut rotates between rooms and try and restrict where the defenders can actually move inside or outside of the site. Still, though, we're about halfway through the round, and nothing's really come to bear yet. It is still quite a nice passive play so far for the side of Nora-Rengo. You can see them kind of setting up in towards the east as they know there is quite a push coming in from the west side as we come to expect. The SCARZ, Inside a minute left or so. This one starts seeing some pressure coming above. Going to be the opening kill going their way, mind you. So Playday gets a little bit aggressive there, and Canis is all more than happy to say thank you very much. That's the Jaeger gone.
Oh, the Maestro run out from lobby. You don't see that very often, but that's a beautiful prone shot coming out from Canos onto Yoshingo. Another EE1D, but nothing really comes of it. The calls will come out in succession as well, and this will give away the defender's position, which there's only 3 remaining. Those 3 being 2 on site and 1 above. This is a beautiful line of sight from Luggage that the Alibi is able to get. If they run in through kitchen door, but they've ran right into it. Canos will take off the head of Simatuki. It's a 2v4. 25 seconds left. This is doable. If they get 1 kill, but they won't. They'll run in. They'll flood the site, and it's up to the smoke. And, well, Canos has had a beautiful round, and SCARZ shows how dominant they are on attack.
4 kills for himself, and the interesting thing in most of those kills, it wasn't even him having to go ridiculously aggressive to find people. Papillia ran straight at him. You had the Alibi playing inside a Luggage. It was kind of a case of saying, well, we know where they are. We have got drones around the map, and you saw a lot of drone work early on. When we knew that there was the Mozzie inside of Sunrise, they still managed to kind of discount that, get round it, ignore it, and find out all the info they needed. It was quite patient from the side of SCARZ, and when we saw them playing yesterday, it was Tuesday. Yesterday's going to catch me so many times. Let's say on the last Playday, that's much more sensible. When they played against Electrify on Club, everything was just out and out aggression. The first 3 rounds came through as flawless. The 4th one was almost there, if not for a dying kill coming out of Flash on the other side. So they know about aggression. They know how to play for this style where it's very rapid and the other team can't adapt in time. This one was kind of delayed aggression, I thought, where they spent the first minute and a half droning, making sure they picked out the Jaeger, the Alibi, they'd removed the roamers, and then just blitzed the site, and there was very little that Nora-Rengo's team needed to be able to do to respond to Canos doing what he does best. He snapped his fingers, the team died, and they won round number 1.
Well, whether or not my microphone is giving a good sound on the test, I know you can hear me clearly, but the stream might not be able to. So we'll see how that goes for the next moment. But another defensive setup from the defenders. We'll see them go up into Hookah. Another very valuable side here on Coastline.
5 seconds to go.
And given this vertical hole here, you're probably wondering why they're opening that up. Well, that hole there gives you a line of sight prone over near Sunlight Exit Store when you can see Mario placing down a mute jam. It's a really nice ability to help if Mario plays behind the bar there. He can have an assist from the top of a vertical hole if someone does enter through there. So that's a good way to get a crossfire without putting yourself in too much line of sight of the attackers.
With the Pulse of Soul Boy here, it just screams to me, and especially with the C4s coming through from Meriyu as well, that they do want to be playing downstairs for some vertical play here. Admittedly, not really the plan by the looks of it for 11, as his aim was to go in through lobby. He gets himself picked off. A second one's gone down to a shotgun, so Nora-Rengo definitely looking in control right now, even if the attack coming out of the side of SCARZ wasn't the one they expected.
Absolutely. Calls will come raining out the Silver Line and the Dokkaebi, so this will isolate anyone who is roaming, but it doesn't look like there's really a lot of roaming expected down in Sunrise, and that'll be Meriyu. He should have possibly some vertical holes with him. The stairs presence of Cool Vibes of Papillia will stop this push in through kitchen door. If they lose the Cool Vibes control, they'll lose the person in Sunrise, no doubt.
It's a simple game coming up for SCARZ here, trying to collapse onto those that are playing this roaming game, but with reduced numbers, it's hard, but Camus is going to step up and say, hard. I laugh in the face of hard. If another kill for him, that makes it 5 inside just 2 rounds, and there are still potentially a few more victims waiting for him as he tries to push in, but no, he gets shut down by Meriyu pretty comfortably at 4 versus 2 with 90 seconds left. He's definitely exploded in the mid round here, and this is all on the downstairs. It's a 1 versus 3, and Nora-Rengo looking much more in control in this round. Those early couple of kills have really put a thorn in the side of SCARZ's plans, and with 1 left alive on about 5 HP, I think we all know which way this round's going to go, and we do eventually see the Dokkaebi come onto the upstairs.
Yeah, if I'm SCARZ right now, I take this hit. I just pretty much use it to give my team a timeout. Let's talk about what went wrong, what we can do best next round. I mean, you've got such low health, you're not going to be able to clutch out these kind of things unless you get a really good shot off, but looks like Revy, given the time, he does have the opportunity to make this clutch happen, so we'll see whether or not he takes that opportunity.
So that's a drone in his back pocket as well.
Yeah, you are right. He does have intel opportunities, but that cam came straight on as soon as he went over onto theater door, and I think he's going to hack the cams. There you go, just so that he can get a little bit more intel beyond his capability thus far. He's got a smoke as well, so he does have quite a bit of utility in pocket. Not sure whether or not he has no calls left either, so this is going to be a Nora-Rengo round unless something goes horribly wrong.
I do wonder why when they got this much time left they don't go on the drones. Not that it's going to matter too much as the smoke through the wall. It only takes one blast, as we saw he was on very little HP. It's never ideal being in a 1 versus 2, even less so when you're on 5 HP and faced up against smoke. Comfortable round win then coming out of there. So with things sitting all square at 1-on-1, I think in the last couple of rounds we've seen the two sides to both teams. One where Nora-Rengo is willing to disrupt SCARZ and stop them getting set up, because in the first round they gave them all the room in the world to operate and let them get set up and get the drone working. Nothing really happened for about 90 seconds in round number 1, so clearly the play for Nora-Rengo is let's disrupt them, give them something to think about in the early round and stop them getting the setup they want to go for, as that so far is when they have looked the most comfortable, and you probably argue the same on Tuesday in their game against Electrify.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Apparently you're muted on BMX, Jess. I will totally carry on just fine. What is it with me and having to carry the Aussies these last couple of days? First it was Dev, now it's Jess. Here we are. But let's see how this round plays out then. We're into that third defensive site. One of the small things I always like to look at with teams as well is whether they choose to stick to a site when they fail it once and try and play it again to fix that past error, or if they keep on rotating through their 3 sites they like to play, the first 2 primary ones and normally the third one that is often known by most teams as the off site. What you're seeing coming here out of the defenders is very, very stable, I would wager. The whole idea is you're going to stick someone in behind the shield, sat there with a shotgun, and wait for someone to try and push in through full entrance. The rest of the team's job then is to protect you from all the other angles that surround this site. It's like a Christmas tree there, with all those ADS set up inside of Sunrise. But let's see what the attack coming out of the side of SCARZ is. We know that from the last round, Nora-Rengo can be that thorn in the side pretty early on. If they can catch a member or 2 out, it can really upset things. See if it balances out to be the same. An extended hold coming out once again from the defenders, mind you. So they are looking to play in more areas of the map than just the site. Maybe a little bit of disparity to what we saw coming in the last round. But trying to, again, catch members out earlier on seems to be a bit of a focus for them, and we'll see if they can find anyone. But 40 seconds in, SCARZ have at least managed to keep everyone alive. We are still rocking that line in the KB as well. It's all about this roamer hunting and trying to shut down these ones that are playing by themselves. The biggest thing you have to fear is the fact that Meriyu is on the mute here, and he was playing a roam game just a second ago. If he can keep the roamers safe by having them sit on top of his mute jammer, there's going to be no intel being fed across to the other side, and things should be pretty comfortable. There is one there between the rooms, as shown by medics, thank you very much, and one up to the north along with the castle barricades you can see coming in. So it is about saying you will not have Penthouse and Theatre. We're not defending that site, but it is definitely ours.
Looks like I will be back, and you should be able to hear me again, big bro. I'm hoping. Yeah, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I was trying to point out when my mic really cut out of me before that we have Thatcher. It's not banned, so the fact that we have both Wilmai and we have Jaeger should be counted really quickly by a Thatcher vote. The past several playdays, we haven't seen Thatcher being played, so I think this is a huge misplay here from the attackers, but Simatuki will kick things off, and he'll take out the big fragger from SCARZ, which is Canos.
They're looking for one more on the front door. Great shot lean round there to bring down Revy, who is the believed to stand in for SCARZ this week. He is one of their coaches, but hopefully in future weeks we get to see the full lineup back to full strength. But Canos, as you mentioned, was the big boy for them back in round number 1. These last couple of rounds are a little bit quieter, has been dealt with by Nora-Rengo a little bit better. This is twice now they've found the opening 2 kills in the round, which leaves SCARZ a little bit empty on what they want to be able to do with their utility. They have still got 2 drones left out on the field for flanks if they want it. SCARZ is going to find one, make it a second. So they are starting to swing things back. It's into a 3 versus 3 with 50 seconds remaining.
It looks like that 3v2 is exactly what the attackers are looking for. The plant will begin, and Demic will be the one to pop it down. No EE1D to capitalize on. That's a really bad spot there from the attackers. And that's almost a 2k for Soulboy. Maybe will pick up Yas, and it's all up to Demic. He got the plant down, but he's against 2 defenders. If they time this correctly, which they have not, then one shot. He just needs to get the next. He's running out of bullets here, and he's ran into a wall instead. And good, look for that Claymore before you go for the defuse. And look, 3 of those Jaeger ADSs were placed on one wall. Imagine one EMP would get rid of that as well. So good round, good retake from Nora-Rengo, but the attackers made many mistakes there. One of them just being, I don't even know what that Sophia was doing laying in the rotate of blue bar. That's a very dangerous place to play, especially when you don't have full lobby control.
Half in, half out. And on the Thatcher ban, I'm curious to know if it's kind of a mirror complex, right? Where, especially in regions like Europe, no one plays mirror because they assume she's going to be banned. So then when she is available, you don't play her because you haven't practiced with her on the assumption she'll be banned. And it's a weird catch-22 in some ways. We did see Secret play it on Oregon the other day. With it being a new map, you can expect things like that to be brought along. But I think for most teams, maybe here they're saying, well, let's act like we're not going to have the Thatcher on side because it's going to be banned away. And now we're in a spot where, well, we don't want to play Thatcher because we've got so used to this lineup of 5 that we've got. It is really good at trying to control what the other side are doing as well, mind you. They have the calls, they have the EE1D scans coming out, and they have the air jabs to block these rotates when required. So I'd still say they've got a very good controlling strat with a bit of soft breach mixing with the side of Canos and 11 as well. Just as it stands, we've found a couple of rounds where Nora-Rengo, despite all those odds stacking up against him with 3 operators designed to counter what Romers are doing, they're still managing to find kills and live for the majority of the rounds.
Absolutely. It showed also that the DMR for the Lion wasn't too bad of a pick. He got 1 pick, but you could see he actually misjudged where the door was for Sunrise entrance, and he paid the price as a result. So he's very close, but as we said before, his post-plant position of his teammates was not applicable for that particular plant, so it didn't really work out in the end, but we'll see whether or not Kitchen plays in the hands of Nora-Rengo. They're going to do a top floor hold this time, and I think that plays better into the strategy, especially when you've got Alibi. She's got the secondary there, the shotgun that she's able to open up a lot of vertical holes. Alibi is going to go into lobby, which will watch Blue Bar as well. So there's a lot of intel here for the attackers now. What's going to be vital is making sure they get rid of that intel. There's no Valkyrie on the board. No excuse, you know, you've got Ash, you've got Zofia. There's a lot of opportunities to get rid of those evil eyes. If they get rid of those, I have a sneaky suspicion they could take Sunrise control and do a lot of damage there, and it looks like that's where they want to enter.
They really like holding Penthouse Theatre as well. Like, for this site, I get it, but there's a couple of rounds there where they put a lot of utility in there. Last round, it was Mute Jammers and Castle Walls. This time around, it's a Shield of the Alibi plus a few extras or a few more frills. It's almost like as a tear rolls down their cheek knowing they're never going to get to play it because most don't consider it a very viable site. So why not just pretend in this case? But as long as the attackers don't get control of the site, it's not going to be the end of the world for them. They've had Simatuki playing on this Alibi a lot as well. We spoke about her a lot recently. She is incredibly powerful. The 3-speed, the gun, the ability to terraform sites can impact Trick when she does have impact. In this case, it's more for the shield, I think. But also the gadget itself is really, really good for sticking in front of a window because it's free intel. Someone's got to destroy it. Someone's got to push over it. Someone's going to shoot it because at the pro level, your first thought is to shoot what looks like an operator rather than thinking, is it real or not? That small delay can be enough to get you killed, and you have to be so mindful of that. Touching again on Canos dying early on, he was the shining light for them back in round number 1, and since then, it has been a bit quiet. Nora really playing well to the idea of shutting down these aggressors early into the rounds.
You're absolutely right. The gunner of Ash goes down. That's also the breaching charges that we would have needed to see, but they did manage to get one of those evil eyes taken off the wall. There's still one remaining. This gunfight will go in the hands of Demic. That's a good use of the DMR. He'll also get shut down from the lobby angle, of which Yoshingo was able to use very effectively at the start of the round to get rid of Canos. And well, now they're looking to get some vertical control. I mean, they don't really have time for this, so if they do sneak up here and there are no players, that's okay. But of course, Papilius decide to move over to White Stairs. Is he aware of this? Does he know he's being pushed up upon short range here with an ACOG and a holo? Who's going to win out on this one? Well, it'll be Yas, and Papilia had no idea what was sneaking up on him. There wasn't a lot of noise either, so he possibly should have been able to hear it, as well as the Maestro should have heard the footsteps above him, but crouch walking can do that sometimes, and now the Maestro will be called out. They know that he is nearby, and he'll win out instead, and it's all up to Revy, the coach of SCARZ, who's subbed on in to make a play out of this, but it doesn't look very likely. He'll shoot on in. Looking for one player. The smokes will come out as well. This is a good rotate here from him. There's a lot of bullets coming out from the Maestro. Will he be able to hit? No, he won't. Man. And that's a beautiful round from Fushingo, who actually put in a lot of kills for his team, all just through a little bit of lobby control.
I only noticed at the start of this round that he's renamed himself in game to Yoshin God rather than Yoshingo. And with a round like that, it's the perfect time to realize it. 4 kills for himself on the Maestro. Sat around lobby as well. Didn't need to go hunting or go and do anything extravagant. Just sat roughly in one place, moved a few steps left and right, and found himself all the kills that were required in that round. One thing that I love from both of these teams so far is how both are using the entire width and breadth of the map. They're using both floors. They're playing around left and right, up and down. Like, it doesn't matter where you put them. they're making sure it's being used to the full extent. I mentioned and joked a little bit around Nora-Rengo and using Penthouse and Theater a few times over now. We've seen them defend all the way up to an extended hold inside of Sunrise as well. So the teams aren't playing scared of each other. They're being very willing to challenge in towards the outside of the map, which really is what Coastline is regarded for. Lots of windows, lots of doors facing into the outside of the map. Why wouldn't you try playing around those instead of giving the attackers free entry into the building?
Very much so, and what looks like SCARZ might be able to take advantage of Nora-Rengo. Well, we spoke about their defensive side being very strong and SCARZ attacking side being very strong, so I worry for SCARZ now. Nora-Rengo is showing their dominance on defense, and SCARZ are unable to show their dominance on attack. I mean, someone has to win a round at the end of the day, Des, so it looks like Nora-Rengo have been able to take advantage, but they have been closer at the start of the round, but at the end, I mean, they're just unable to execute with dominance the way that you would expect SCARZ to do. So I think for Nora-Rengo, they're happy with the outcome thus far. It has been a little bit of a slaughter to get there, but Soulboy is going to kick things off with another slaughter of his own.
Jesus.
That's a long run out, but that is an awful typical one if you have played Coastline on ranked. So, not a surprise for these boys, I think.
Every Vigil Jaeger main under the sun will make that run out at some point, I'm absolutely sure. Worth noting here how Nora-Rengo have changed tack slightly as well. They aren't running these more aggressive roamers. They have pulled away the Alibi, for example. They've stepped off the Ella. This is looking much more like a conventional setup of what you might see from most teams around the world, I think, to defend this site here. The only roamer you're really looking at going to be the Vigil playing offside all the way out towards service entrance, as you'll so often see. No doubt you'll see the Jaeger roaming as well. Otherwise, it comes down to 3 anchors and playing around the utility provided by the Maestro. That intel will feed them and let them know exactly when these pushes should be coming through. So I like that it's kind of taken a step back. I just don't want to see them give too much room over to Canos here to really tear off again like he did back in round number 1.
Exactly, and that vertical hole we saw being made just rounds ago by the Maestro, I think that's going to be the indicator for the team whether they push below or not. Unfortunately, they're not aware that the Ash is moving through kitchen instead, so it looks like the mute on Cool Vibes, of which I'm not sure if he's even still there, will be the indicator for the defenders. Nope, he's moved over to the bar, and he has a shield to protect him there as well. So these are really good positions. Probably not smart to challenge a DMR all the way over on Ruins with an SMG, but no one's been picked thus far, and we have literally hit the halfway mark of the round. So it does look like they want to have to push this, but I'm not sure whether or not, given that they haven't been able to take any picks thus far or get rid of any of these roamers, if this will be something they'll have enough time for.
It is a worry with the Vigil being able to capitalize late round, right? Because unless they manage to pinch on him now, smart of him to move away. He spent about 20-30 seconds in that one spot. Don't want to stay there for too long. They'll find Meryu, but again, I'm still worrying about that Vigil late round and the impact he could have if they do start staging for an after take. Time will tell. The scan's going to come out here. Of course, you can dodge away from that one with that gadget Actis. They still don't quite know where he is. I'm hoping that wasn't committed towards trying to find him. It cannot be nearby. I'd wager it is. He's looking the wrong way. That'll be Soulboy taken out. So that main roamer has been dealt with here. The rest are all now playing on Cool Vibes, inside of sight, or in Vars. So if they have this information, they should be able to act off the back of this one and start pinching him for some kills. APAC right now looks pretty safe to step into, as long as they're mindful of Machine Guard stepping out and finding any kills from inside of sight.
This is a beautiful thing for the attackers here. Look at this. The Maestro is trying to look left, right, and center. Actually stopped the diffuser as well. That was beautiful. Unfortunately for the Maestro, he can't look 4 different angles at once. Tries his absolute best, but I want to point out, ladies and gentlemen, that round by SCARZ was beautifully done, and it came off the back of the pinch from Hookah and Cool Vibes. Had the Ash not been taking the attention of the Cool Vibes player, and of course the Maestro, who you saw there doing 360s, trying to keep up with all the angles that were firing upon him, that round may not have gone in SCARZ's favor. They didn't really have a proper line of sight onto the rotate of which Maestro was playing, so when they came in for the plant, no one was really covering properly, not even a double window presence. So I think they were very lucky that they had other players like Ash and Lion who were there to crossfire when the execute went down.
I'll change things back up again here as well. So looking to go towards the Ella, bringing along the castle. This just screams to me another bit of a far-off hold. Last time they were downstairs in Sunrise and Blue, they actually held onto Penthouse and Theatre. Main reason being, like we mentioned in the last round with the Vigil, is so that more later into the round you can get these rotates in and disrupt the attack if they can't comfortably get set up, knowing full well that someone may be behind them. They do have the Nomad on side, so if that's at least in a good spot, they should be able to hold them off temporarily, but it means you have to commit at least one person to watching these back angles in case they do get knocked over by an air jab. So Something to think about for the attackers. I like that we are seeing Nora-Rengo going back to this after they realized it didn't really work out too well for them before. In fact, it got 6 picked away. But the castle being on side still screams to me there's going to be a hold somewhere else. They don't want the attackers being able to deal with easily. In the past, it has been the castle and mute combo that has been mainly responsible for those more aggressive holds.
Super extended hold here. We can see the castle's upstairs. And, yeah, looks like that's how they want to play this one. You can see random singular reinforcements throughout. That's just to cut off lines of sight of where these players might be roaming and to give them a little bit more safety if someone does manage to rappel up or take a that they're not expecting. A lot of horizontal lines of sight open up as well. This is what we were speaking about before. Nora-Rengo love to have those long lines of sight. I don't know whether they'll have another Evil Eye watching over through onto Blue Bar from lobby again. Possibly they'll have that as well. And if they do, well, not again. They've got, actually they do. They're put it in the middle of courtyard this time. So if the attackers don't get rid of that, I would be very surprised because it's in a really key position.
I'm wondering about how they'll try and deal with the aggression setup coming out of them as well. The run out even comes through from Demic, who, oh, sorry, not run out, sorry, splits things back around and gets Soul Boy, who tried to do as much. Interesting to find the Maestro in that spot as well. Not really an ideal one for them. You've already seen what they've been doing with Yashingo on that so far in this game. And losing it now, sure, you can't control the Evil Eyes, but we all know it's all about the key intel. As long as they're positioned right and they see the key angles that we're looking to watch with those Evil Eyes, they should still be in an okay spot.
Yeah, a little bit of an odd one to see the Maestro run out. Not sure what that one was about, but he did manage to get a pick, but was instantly traded. Looks like Papilia will be the one to hold on to Office here. That's a good read on the situation there. If you're going to get flashed, you may as well push up. And he found a player with another flash in their hands and takes him out. And a 3v4, it's very doable. There's half of the round left. Edge will go off, but he's going to miss out on this. And in fact, he might lose out as a result. Shots will come out, and somehow the Legion survives through all of that.
The other way, and a slither of HP, and he sticks a nice little blue mine in the foot of the Zofia at the same time. Going to take about a quarter of her health away, which can be quite impactful later on in the round when the fights might come down to the longer distance. Time will tell. But the fact he's managed to hold inside of Office here for a solid 2 minutes is massive for them. They'll finally be able to unseat him there with the call coming in from the EE1D, and they are now in a controlling position. But here comes Yashingo coming in from security. They must know surely that he's pushing in from this direction, which means 11 has now got to be extra careful because they need Office if they're going to try and take control of Blue. It doesn't look like there is a massive focus right now on them and taking Sunrise, and it just feels like they're not 100% sure of what it is they want. Maybe they rotate up towards pool entrance here. I'm not sure, but that feels like the play now that they've managed to clear out Sunrise, except for Mario, who's just crawled his way in from the hallway.
Mario's in a really key position in Sunrise. He needs to hold this off if he doesn't want to have 3 full attackers coming after him. They've spotted him, but there's less than 30 seconds left. He must hit one of these shots and stop them from raining on in. It looks like they're going to go for a split push through Bar and through Sunrise entrance. They're aware of that fact. Unfortunately, the castle misses his shots onto the Blue Bar player. He gets some shots off onto the B bomb player, but he'll be able to connect on the line. He'll get another one, and it's all up to the Zone. He's got 5 seconds left. 2 full kills. Will he be able to get even one? No, he won't. Yashingo will take him out, and that's a round that should have gone into the hands of SCARZ, but alas, did not.
It's tough because that Legion, I think, wasted a lot more time down inside of Office than they anticipated, and also didn't foresee the Zofia getting down. So I don't want to say easily, but it looked pretty easy. Very few shots contested back the other way. A down comes through, and sure, she can get herself back up. But while that's down, you've got 2 players trying to push in on the limited time they have left from pool entrance. It's as simple for Meriyu as watching the one direction and find themselves a couple of kills. A backup coming in from Kitchen. So well orchestrated 2 versus 3 there from the side of Nora-Rengo. They end the half at 4-2. Not a bad result. We now get to switch over and see how SCARZ do on their defensive side. They had a couple of rounds there that looked good when Nora-Rengo were the ones playing defensively, but once they were trying to play offsite and give them something else to think about as they tried to get inside the building, that's where SCARZ seemed to fall apart a little bit. So well played by Nora-Rengo there to capitalize on identified weaknesses in the side of SCARZ.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Absolutely. Now, looks like SCARZ has decided Puka's going to be their bomb side of choice, and we'll see how they set up for it. Of course, a little bit of a difference in the attackers here. You'll see Papilia running the Jackal. Yashingo will also rock the Lion, however, but he won't be having the DMR in hand. He'll stick with the assault rifle here, not going to be mirroring that of SCARZ. And Maestro being a key thing throughout both of these teams now. It looks like a operator. Given that we don't have Echo, we really need to have long for you. Have a look at the Valkyrie being bent. Maestro is really the only option. SCARZ will need to use that to full effectiveness, and if you're Nora-Rengo, you're hoping, given all of the ability to get rid of those, the breaching charges on Ash, force some impacts on the Zofia. So that'll be something I'm looking out for, to make sure they get rid of those, because there won't be any other intel left unless there's a bulletproof camera, which, oh, we're not seeing that.
There is no Nomad on side, so I guess my only worry is the only thing they've got really to watch out for the potential late game flanks coming out of the defenders here is going to be that single Claymore on the side of Simatuki playing the Zofia. When we saw SCARZ on the attack, it was more breach charges there for the extra soft destruction, but the alternative for Nora-Rengo is the Buck, who, as we all know, recently, well, relatively recently, lost his frag grenades and now also has a Claymore as well. But in this round, it's about burning through the ADS and burning through the Wamai. Everyone is loaded with grenades here to try and deal with those, so they can start getting some crucial utility in, mainly looking more towards the impacts from the Zofia. I'd expect to remove things like the Maestro Evil Eyes, or to try and remove some more long-range walls that maybe you want to see gone so you can start finding some boys through. That's one.
Absolutely. Now, things will start kicking off. We've just gone under the 2-minute mark, and drones will come soaring through Nora-Rengo. They're hoping to spot out anyone roaming, but you can see here, no one's actually extended themselves beyond below. So they've got a really good drone here onto the Jaeger. If they want to capitalize on him, they can, and it looks like they do. They're actually going to hop in a courtyard and perfectly time E1D, and Ishigo will say goodnight, Canos, and that's another fragger for SCARZ taken off the board. And I mean, we've seen Canos have huge impact in the first couple of rounds, and it looks like Nora-Rengo are just picking on him solely.
It's been rough. He's had a good couple of rounds to start, and they were like, right, that guy needs taken out of the game every single round immediately, and he has died an awful lot in the entry, so it's been rough. But touching on what you saw come through as an execute there, it's a prime example of why we saw SCARZ coming out with the BKB and the Lion together a lot. So if you call them and they move, they die because you know where they are. If they sit still, you hear them on the call at the same time. You can have a similar sort of process coming out with drones as well. You move, you get scanned. If you're on the drones, you can be scanned. It's a tough life as a roamer, essentially. That's why you see in both teams come out with these anti-roamer setups. Makes perfect sense against teams that like to play quite aggressive. 2 now dead on the side of SCARZ, and it's looking good for Nora-Rengo on the attack, who definitely, as this game has gone on, have got a lot better at dealing with these aggressive players coming out of the side of SCARZ. Maybe look here and say a Maestro playing aggressive. Well, we saw Soulboy do a jump out with him, so absolutely. Apparently today, Maestro is an aggressive operator.
Well, with all of those bullets, you can stand outside and be firing for many, many minutes if you wanted to get away with it. 4-11, that's a beautiful counter peek there on Amerio, who was repelling on the double window, and now 20 seconds left. They need to get this kill onto Cool Vibes if they want to have any control. Unfortunately, Demic needs to actually be the one to take the pick, because he needs to focus on the plant. He's going to rotate up. He's very aware of this. He'll miss his shots, and that'll be the picks they need. Now, 5 seconds left. Moving on in. It's going to be up to Revy on his own. The coach of SCARZ is looking to defuse it down. He just needs to hide, and he won't. The failure will sneak on in with a mere second left, and Revy, he'll be licking his wounds after that one. A very close round that he rightfully almost should have won.
Oh, that would have been an amazing story as well, where the standing coach comes up big and wins the rounds for you. You know, Chaos for quite a while is a great example team in the Nordic Championship were running Hyperino, their coach for a while, whilst they looked to replace secretly. Had a bit of a rough time is probably the best way I would describe it, and Revy there was in such an incredible spot to save the round for them, but not quite to be, and to even give him some lean as well. He has set up 4 kills in this game, so Coach Smoach, coaches can play as well.
Oh.
So why didn't they sub you in, Jess, all that time ago?
What's this?
Why didn't they sub you into play all that time ago? Back in the
Actually,
Penta days?
no,
Never a day they were like, you know what? Go on.
I subbed in for several German Saturday League games, and I did quite well, kept my own, and I subbed in for a big charity event, and I clutched multiple rounds on my lonesome. So just want to shout it out there, coaches can play. I suppose there's casters and analysts that can't, so I've now hit my washed up status now.
Sounds like something to be very proud of. You're a bit fragile about that one, Jess. You're a bit touchy.
We'll see, nonetheless. Nora-Rengo edged their way towards the 6th round, which is what they'll need to cement themselves a match point status. SCARZ, however, they want to put a thorn in the side of that thought because, well, they have everything it takes to overcome the giants that are Nora-Rengo. They're just putting in little mistakes here and there, which see them unable to execute. And well, on this, at least on this side of things, unable to stop the execute from going down.
It's a rough one on the side of SCARZ for sure. We've seen their greatest successes in this map being when they have got aggressive at the start of a round and look to shut down the other side from doing what they please. And we need to see more of that coming through, I think. We keep on touching on Canos because he had a really good first couple of rounds. But Demic also can't be ignored. His impact has been felt across the rounds. It's just, is it enough impact? It comes down to these final firefights where there's 2 or 3 left for Nora-Rengo. And I think it's pretty fair to say Nora-Rengo are probably more experienced given the length and longevity of this team. I think if you look at their history as a roster, they've probably had about 20 players go through. Think of all the learnings that are passed on down through the generations of players here that each team then cultivates and makes into their own. That is a reference, and if anyone gets it, I'm very happy. But they have definitely got a lot of experience built between them, and no doubt it's been passed on to these players today as well. They're showing it here when it comes down to these clutch situations that they can play in a 2 versus 3 or a 1 versus 2 and still come out on top.
Barely a minute has passed on the round, and Nora-Rengo already in the middle of the courtyard. Mario rocking the Ash, and it doesn't look like those E1Ds have stopped anyone, but that's going to give a lot of kills to the side. Nora-Rengo and Revy again going to be the clutch master here. He's got a lot of opponents to go up against. He wants to make this round count. Drones will also come soaring in. I love this for Nora-Rengo. They've got a 4v1 and they aren't peeking too aggressively. They're actually still droning, making sure they are methodical. So really good round there from Nora-Rengo. They had really key positions, but a lot of that came down to gunfights.
Professionalism is the word that springs to mind, I think. In a 4 versus 1, I know a lot of teams would probably think, oh, this is easy, just go and swing him. He's only a coach subbing in, but due respect where it's given, drones in, find out where he is, and then look to hold the angles where he might try and move to. If the time had worn down to maybe 30 seconds remaining rather than the 1 minute 30 seconds that we did see, then maybe a plant was on the agenda and they had to be a bit more aggressive about things, but with enough time left, 90 seconds to kill him, they did it the right way, I think. They're in a spot now where they are at 6-2, and for Nora-Rengo, well, we sat down and said they aren't looking like the strongest team in Japan anymore, but given what we've seen the last couple of play days against Q-Confirm and here today against SCARZ, they're looking pretty good, I think, Jess.
Yeah, they've got some really good key players, I guess, sticking the numbers on the board, but also doing a lot of the support work. I want to, do a huge shout out to the droners on the side of Nora-Rengo. They don't get a lot of shout outs, support players, you don't often see their impact, but we're seeing a lot of people on the side of Nora-Rengo throw their drones out, spot out key players, and just hold those pull-outs. You can tell that they're making pull-outs to get these pinches happening. So that's a really important factor. That's why a lot of the Nora-Rengo players are able to get flagged. They're really good flexible players, feeding that information to those fraggers and allowing them to be fragged. So really beautifully done there. Those drones have accompanied the kills very nicely. It shows that the whole team is able to make impact. It's not just 1 or 2 of those players, like we're seeing on the side of SCARZ, where you're having guys like Demic really step up.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb.
I appreciate it's kind of turned into one of these where it's a nade trading game is what I like to call it, right? There are a lot of nades on the side of Nora-Rengo, and then we're seeing the Ramai and the Jaeger being brought... Jaeger? The Jaeger, sorry, being brought by the other side. And part of me wants to say for SCARZ, I'd love to know what would happen if they did play for a more aggressive, kill-focused game, where maybe there were more C4s being brought along. They were looking to play more vertically. I guess the biggest fear that you have there is that, well, Nora-Rengo are just going to hunt you down in that case and kill you no matter where you're sat. Maybe that might have been a bit of a stronger kind of focus of play for them. At least we have got Canos trying to contest on the doorway again. We've got to see him start getting some entry frags to it. It's been a good few rounds since he's found a kill. He's been selling 7 kills now for quite a while. And again, I'm wondering if playing more defensively and playing around utility that doesn't require using guns to kill people is the right sort of play for them.
Unfortunately, the Jaeger is situated by himself in security, and look at this. I mean, they're able to just spot out these players with drones so perfectly, and you can see them wanting to act on this information. So the Buck was able to take out Canos, who I said was by himself. No one was close enough on the defensive side to even refrag him. So there goes a man down that, well, you couldn't really trade back even if you tried. So I think for SCARZ, the biggest mistake they've made on defense is not being in triangulation, or not having triangulation rather, for refragability. So I really hope that we see some of these players tighten up a bit, because it's match point now. They've got no chance.
It's probably going to do something, but as you say, it's just going the same way as all the previous rounds has, and that is a worry point, I think. It's definitely looking even more worrisome now that it's Nora-Rengo into a 5 versus 3, still with a bit of utility on side and still a hell of a lot of time to play with. Some things never change, it's starting to feel like. Minute 20 left, and they are in a spot where they can get some control here. You've still got members of SCARZ playing on the roam as well, trying to, I guess, catch them as they try and go for a push in towards sight. So I like they're at least trying to do something about it, but it's going to be a free kill coming through for them. Very nice. That is going to be 1 on their side. Can they make it 2 or 3 more?
Revy above. He needs to keep these vertical holds because this is really important. They're getting harassed from below and they're wasting a lot of time. Another EE1D will come out, but it won't catch anyone off guard. Everyone is in really key positions, except for Deming, who gets traded by Meriu, who is waiting outside lobby for his rotate. Great game sense coming out from Meriu there, but they've got 40 seconds left. 2 defenders, both of the anchors of Revy and Yas. And if Yas times this well, he'll be able to run out. He knows someone's repelling. He'll see them. He'll capitalize on the kill, and no one will be able to trade. Yes, they will. Ishingo will grab that one, and Revy's alone yet again. And he needs to get these kills. There's one. He'll need 2 more. He's unable to do it. And that matchup will go in Nora-Rengo's favor. And that's a pretty convincing win if I've seen one.
It is, yeah, but good effort coming out of SCARZ. Well, I've got to commend him for some of the play that we did see in those rounds. It was just building consistency across the map that I think faltered a little bit there. I think in round number 3, we saw them draw back to playing this more defensive, on the defensive side, playing this more defensive style. That's when Nora-Rengo really took control here and just showing, as I mentioned in the game, their experience is shining through here. The coordination they've got in these clutches looks beyond what SCARZ are at right now. But I'm very, very encouraged by this. I don't think the scoreline that we're seeing of 7-2 really tells the full story. SCARZ did look good today. It's just coming up against a team that right now looks like they're on fire.
Absolute shout out to Nora-Rengo there. Their roam clearing was a huge standout for me. The way that they were able to triangulate on one singular roamer is huge. And their drone work from their support players, well, it doesn't get more world-class than that, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we have others here who are able to give you the lowdown of what you just saw. We'll send it over to our analysts. See you later.
Thank you so much, Jess. That was